So for a while now, one of my friends has been trying to get me to draw a blonde elf girl with the skirt that has the little cut in on the side. So we're finally doing it. He's been asking for about almost 2.5 years, and I've been holding off just because I didn't really know what pose I wanted to do, and I didn't think I was quite good enough. Still don't think I am, but I don't really think that's ever going to go away anytime soon, so that might as well, hey, just do it, you know? This one went pretty quick. I think the finish time was about an hour and a half. I just played Eric Cartman singing Evanescence on a loop, and then just the drawing finished itself, you know? I don't really remember what I was doing, but I know how to work after it, so got her done pretty quick here. I think I chose the jacket there just as a way to hide and run from my responsibilities, as any good artist does. From drawing the shoulders, because I think the shoulders in that pose look weird. Like, even if you draw them right, it's just one of those things that they don't look normal. I don't know if that's just me being crazy or something, but I don't know. I don't really like how I did the skirt in this pose. I don't think it looks like a skirt, if you know what I mean. I guess I don't really know how to describe it, but it just looks a little goofy to me. And I also shrunk her legs down a little bit because she was about 20 feet tall there. She's got the grippers out too, because, I mean, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. I did some more liner in this one than what I normally do. I just think since it was going to have a pretty white background, and just pretty white and bright background, that having more liner would make it pop out, you know, a little more. Don't know if I was too successful in that, but that was at least the goal. So, and you can see me sketching the eyes out here. Not a big fan of how they're looking, but, you know, you add glasses, solves every problem. So, this problem's solved now. Make them a little bigger pretty soon, because just proportions, you know, are a thing. But I was also having some trouble with the mouth. I don't think I'm quite the biggest fan of it. I think the lines were a little too thick, but I mean, it's there, you know. It's not the worst thing I've ever done. So, and I think her right arm, the one that's in front, I think that one just doesn't look like an arm at all, if I'm going to be honest. Especially looking at it now, because it's a little bit of an older drawing. It was a week or two ago, I think. It just isn't an arm, you know what I'm saying? So I just covered it with hair, and it's, you know, solved the problem pretty quick. Again, good artists run from responsibilities. But you filling in the base colors, you know, I wanted to have like a pretty simple color scheme. Like, obviously she was gonna be blonde, because, you know, gotta do it for the homies. But just black and white. Like, he was talking about an office lady type of fit, you know. Kind of like Alpha and Beta from Eminence and Shadow, if you've read that manga. Maybe it's got an anime now. Not 100% sure. But just doing the base shadows, I think the base shadows were looking pretty good. I did not like how I did the coat. And I think the hair was way too dark. But like the skirt up, looking pretty good, I think. Hair is passable. Was trying to make, since it's could have been a pretty bland lighting, I tried to make it a little stronger on the right, make it a little more interesting. Seemed pretty successful in that. I think I overused the tone brush way too much on this one, but it doesn't take away from it too much. I just think I was relying a little too heavily on that instead of just being better at, you know, drawing. So I guess I did make the brush, so that's a little bit more excusable, but still not quite ideal, at least for me. Because I like to do most of the stuff manually. I don't like to have a whole lot of patterns and stuff. I feel like it kind of takes away from actually drawing it. Because I know a lot of people just overly rely on the stuff that digital you can do with the computer, but I like to just keep it pretty simple. And then it doesn't get all muddled. I used to really over rely on it. If you scroll back on my Twitter, you can tell, but like everything had the hardest line, hardest shadow, 40 lines, and then also had an airbrush over it. It just looks horrible. Spamming the add glow layers to try and shade when I just don't know what colors are. And I think with the skin shading, talking about shading, she kind of looks dead. Not enough to make it a problem, but I'm noticing that again now. I think the shading was a little too dark and saturated. I think if it was lighter, it would have been fine. And if it was more desaturated, it would have been fine. But it's like a weird in between. It still does the job perfectly fine, but I don't think it fits with like the warmer light I was going for. I'm going way too dark on the coat there, reeling it back a little bit. And then I made the shadows more desaturated just because I think it fits the vibe more. Because it's going to be, the background's going to be a cooler color, so the shadows would, ambient light make them cooler. So don't want the shadows being incredibly warm when, that wouldn't make sense. Yeah, and then me fixing more of the shadows because, again, too saturated. I don't know what that's called, but like the little warm area on the outside of a shadow. I've seen painters do it before, and then Sam does arts. He does this a lot. No idea what the actual name is, but I know that's a thing, and I think it looks cool. So I've been doing that more. I tried to do it in the legs. I don't remember if I kept it or not, but I think it's a pretty cool effect. No idea what causes it, to be honest, but I mean, hey, it's there, so it looks good. Does its job just fine. I think the shading the legs here got a little muddy. I would have liked to just keep it one color, pretty much, especially in the darker areas. That's another thing I've been working on recently, is because obviously you see less detail when something's dark, right? So if I keep on adding more dark shadows and more detail, then it looks really busy, and you can't really tell what's going on. And then overusing the tone brush is just adding more stuff, which is not helping the whole situation. I think hatching is a pretty good way to like go around that, because it still adds a different texture, so it's not just like an egg, like how it's such smooth. But yeah, something needs to happen there because it's looking a little. Yeah, and then this is probably my least favorite part about the drawing right here. Is I don't think the tones in the hair are bad. I just think the very dark shadow is just the wrong color. And I noticed this at the end of the drawing, but since I do all the shading on one layer, I was like, well, I mean, I'm kind of fucked myself over here. So I just kept it. I mean, it's not the worst thing. It is darker, so, it looks like a shadow at least, but I think the eyes here are pretty good. They're simple, but I've been trying to simplify them because, especially when it's a full body, you're not seeing shit of the eyes anyway. So might as well make them simple so you can actually tell what's going on. Mess that up in other places of the drawing, but kept that, and the glasses super simple. I don't know why I didn't do line art for the fur, but that was a plan the whole way. That's kind of why I was running from my responsibilities with the shoulders. Because, if you throw fur there, you can't see it. And what you can't see can't hurt you, I was experimenting a different way to do the fur with like way simpler. I think in parts it worked, in parts it didn't. But I think I'm going to keep on doing it that way. I like it. So my friend's bed is blue. That's why the background is blue here. I thought it'd be funny if she was posted up on his bed. But then I realized that blue just doesn't look good here. So I'm changing it to green pretty soon. But for a bit, it was blue. And that was funny. So I sent him the blue version. But I don't know if his bed's blue anymore because he just moved. But yeah, and then now is when I decided to make it green in the background. So I did like I don't know what you call this, like a side light or something. I've been doing that recently. I just think it looks cool. And especially it helps you see stuff that are in shadow. Yeah, change it to green. Automatically looks better. I blurred some of the hair in the foreground. I've been experimenting with some of that because obviously if you're focusing on something, you don't peripheral vision and all that. I don't know, but I think overall solid. Not my favorite. Definitely not the worst thing I've ever done. I guess that's it. So, see ya.